There are several stories people like to hear. I can think of three of them. Three types of stories off the top of my head. The Cinderella story. Young team out of nowhere, last place, ends up going into the World Series and winning the whole thing, coming out of nowhere. I think of the Boston Red Sox back in 2004. Nobody ever gave them a chance. They were the losers. And next thing you know, they're beating the Yankees 4 games straight. It's awesome. Then there's the extreme ultimate victory, time and time again. This person can't lose. It's awesome. Lance Armstrong, what, 6-time Tour de France winner, champion? We love to hear him overcoming great obstacles of cancer, and next thing you know, he is the man. Everybody loves him. And then we've got those stories that I think America eats up more than any other place in the world. Epic failures. I'm thinking of, off the top of my head, Michael Vick. I don't know, you guys aren't from the South. And Atlanta, Georgia, and South Carolina, we have no professional sports teams to speak of, so we have to mooch off from nearby states. And for geography majors, South Carolina is next to Georgia and North Carolina, and that's where we get our football teams from. So you either like Jake Delhomme, or you liked Jake Delhomme back in the day. This was it's been a while since I've been in South Carolina. Or you liked Michael Vick, and everybody cheered for Vick. I remember playing football with my youth, and they would throw the ball, and they say Michael Vick, and I look at them, Julius Peppers, and they're like, no. Julius Peppers played defense, played tackle for the Carolina Panthers. So. And then there was this whole situation about dogs and dog fighting and illegal dog fighting. And I don't think there is such thing as legal dog as opposed to legal cat fighting. I don't know. And all people could talk about in South Carolina and Greenville and Simpsonville and wherever was Michael Vick, Michael Vick, Michael Vick, Michael Vick. Go back even further to the Clinton administration. Anybody remember anything that man did besides that one event in his life?
There were 2 other events.
Yeah, there were a couple other things. But an epic failure. Everybody loved Bill Clinton until, and it all depends on what your definition of the word is. I didn't understand that.
You hate his references. Wow.
We love to read stories of failure. We love to hear stories of people royally messing up. And it gets worse the more popular they are. That's why I think the only 2 stories we ever really hear about King David are the stories of David and Goliath, where this young shepherd boy came out of nowhere and put a rock right in the middle of the forehead of a giant. And he says, God did that. And then we fast forward to the life of David. Fast forward to him fighting with Saul. Fast forward to him being king for years. And we come to 2 Samuel chapter 11. And we see David's epic fail. Maybe I'm giving too much away. But if you don't know this story, I've heard this, then you're going to open your eyes to a whole new side of David. But I've heard this story years and years of my life, and I've always heard it preached certain ways, and they never gave me all the information, apparently, because I started looking into it this week. And I started looking into what's the important parts of the story that we're forgetting, that we're missing. And there are a lot of things in here to show you how much of an epic failure David was in this situation. Because there are nuances that I've never been told. And I never taught. I'm going to tell them to you today, or at least some of them. We'll see how this works out. And it starts off with this. In the spring of the year, the times when kings go out to battle, David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel. They ravaged the Ammonites, and they besieged Rabbah. But David remained at Jerusalem. It happened late one afternoon when David arose from his couch and was walking on the roof of the king's house. And he saw from the roof a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful. And David sent and inquired about the woman. And one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? So David sent messengers and took her. And she came to him, and he lay with her. Now she had been purifying herself from her uncleanness. Then she returned to her house, and the woman conceived and sent David, and she sent and told David, I am pregnant. Beginning of the story. Here we have a situation, right? It's the springtime. It's the time where armies go off to war. Kings go off to battle. David has made his reputation as a warrior king. He fought battles. He led victories. He was God's man. He commanded the army. That was his duty. That was his job. That's what he loved to do. But in this situation, it says it's the time that kings go off to war. And David sent his army, sent his men, sent all of Israel, everybody who could fight, he sent off to war. But what did David do? He stayed home. Hung out in Jerusalem. It wasn't where he was supposed to be. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. He wasn't doing what he staked his reputation as being. He got a little comfortable in his lifestyle. He got a little easy. He said, I'm king now. I don't need to do all that anymore. I'm good. I think David's first mistake was that he got comfortable. I think his mistake was he got too used to being king and having things done. And we run into that problem when our ministry plateaus or our life plateaus or our college classes plateau. I'm doing just enough to get by. I'm okay. I got this. So we don't study as hard. Or we just wander around and say, okay, I've got this ministry thing packed. I don't need to prepare as much anymore. I'm good. Or, hey, I'm untouchable. I'm good. So David was at that plateau in his life. I'm good. I don't need to go to war. I got men who can do that. I got people who can do that. And he got a little relaxed. Did he have the right to stay home? Yeah. He's king. He can do whatever he wants to. Should he have stayed home? What I'm going to show you tonight is how the cycle, I call it the cycle of sin, where we start one thing. We make our one mistake, and that leads us into something that we shouldn't do, which causes a problem. And that leads us into something else we shouldn't do, which causes another problem, and leads us to something else we shouldn't do, which causes another problem, the cycle of sin. First part of that cycle was David saying, I'm good, and we'll stay home. We got to the point where he's walking, it was hot in Jerusalem, and you know it's the Middle East, it's hot all the time there, right? And the winter, you got like the summer, and you got the really bad summer, and then you got, oh my gosh, it's summer. And then it's kind of cool, and then we do the cycle again.